Hello students, today I am going to take up Daffodils by William Wordsworth. Wordsworth, as you all know, that he is one of the greatest romantic poets. He was a great lover of nature, and this particular poem, that is Daffodils, is basically a eulogy to the restorative powers of nature. Okay, like if you are a nature lover, you must have felt that nature, nature possesses the strength to revitalize you and it heals you emotionally as well as psychologically. So same was with the case with Wordsworth. He has actually in this poem celebrated the beauty of nature along with the bliss of solitude. Fine, just because this poem is written on a real life experience. So whenever Wordsworth felt sad, depressed, dejected, lonely, the mere memory of the daffodils used to lift his spirits. Okay, so for Wordsworth, nothing is superior to nature, and daffodils describe the refreshing and the healing power of nature. Fine, so let's take up the poem. It's a beautiful one. You must have done it in your junior classes. See, he says, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. So the poet is saying कि जिस तरह से एक cloud जो है वो float करता रहता है whales और hills के ऊपर. Whales is actually a poetic term for valley. तो जिस तरह से एक cloud जो है वो float करता रहता है valleys और hills के ऊपर, उसी तरह से I was also wandering here and there. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. तभी अचानक से suddenly poet की नजर किस पर पड़ती है? On a crowd of daffodils. He's seeing a host of golden daffodils. Host means in large numbers. Numerous, बहुत सारे daffodils वहां पर थे, and he saw a host of golden daffodils. Just because he is a nature lover, daffodils are precious to him. You can say they are as dear to him as gold. That is why he's saying a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So the daffodils were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now try to note here that poet has actually compared himself to a cloud. Okay, he has used a simile. He says, I wandered lonely as a cloud. And then he is actually personifying the daffodils. So you see, nature, that is poet, is comparing himself to a cloud, that is nature, poet to a nature, and then he is personifying the daffodils as human beings. So this actually depicts the inherent unity between man and nature. Fine. Then he says, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. So just जिस तरह से stars जो हैं Milky Way में, Milky Way, the Milky Way galaxy, okay, तो जिस तरह से stars continuously they are shining on the Milky Way galaxy, they are actually uncountable. You cannot count the stars over there. So उसी तरह से daffodils भी, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of the bay. They stretched in never-ending line. Yes, never-ending line means as far as the poet could see. जहां तक पोएट की निगाह जा रही थी उसे डैफोडिल्स ही डैफोडिल्स दिखाई दे रहे थे. द होल बेल्ट, द मार्जिन ऑफ द बे, वहां पर सिर्फ डैफोडिल्स ही डैफोडिल्स थे. And margin is actually the boundary. Bay is actually a water body surrounded by land on three sides and connected to water on one side. So this lake is actually a bay. Okay, so he says the stretched in never ending line along the margin of the bay. 10,000 I saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. 10,000 he saw at a glance. Yes, actually he is exaggerating. The thing is that उसने काउंट तो नहीं किया होगा पोएट ने 10,000 वहां पर काउंट तो नहीं किया होगा. द थिंग इज दैट ही इज सेइंग 10,000 फॉर द सेक ऑफ emphasis. Okay, we call it hyperbole. He is exaggerating. So he says 10,000 I saw at a glance. एक बार में मैंने 10,000 देखे. He is just using a hyperbole. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Tossing means they were just moving up and down. वहां पर क्योंकि हवा भी चल रही थी तो हवा से जो है daffodils were fluttering and they were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Sprightly means full of life and energy. Daffodils were very happy, so they were just fluttering and dancing in the breeze. They were tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. Then he says, the waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. Yes, तो जो waves हैं बे में, they were also dancing, but ये जो daffodils का dance है, ये waves के dance से कहीं ज़्यादा अच्छा था. Outdid means to surpass. Okay, so the dance of the daffodils, you can say, they surpass the dance of the waves. Sparkling means shining, and glee is happiness. you can say a strong feeling of happiness. So the waves were also dancing, but the dance of the daffodils were far better, or yes, far better than the waves. They surpassed the waves in their dance. Fine. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. Yes, a poet could not but be happy in such a jocund company. Jocund means cheerful. इतनी अच्छी और cheerful company में poet was really feeling very happy. I gazed and gazed but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So poet जो है वो देखे जा रहा है, he was gazing and gazing, continuously looking, and he thought कि ये जो शो है, द शो दैट इज द डैफोडिल्स आर डांसिंग एंड द ब्यूटी ऑफ नेचर, ये जो इतना जॉयस क्या कहते हैं यहाँ पर एक सीनरी है, इसने मुझे कौन सी वेल्थ दी है, लाइक what kind of a wealth the poet has earned. Actually the wealth is here the wealth of joy and happiness. Okay, like when the poet will go home and whenever he'll feel sad or he'll feel depressed, he further says that तो उसे ये जब daffodils याद आएंगे तो he will be actually rejoicing and enjoying. Okay, उन जो पोएट का मूड अगर डिप्रेस्ड भी रहेगा तो वो मूड फ्रेश हो जाएगा just because of the memory of the daffodils. So this is actually the wealth. Then he says, for often when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood. So he says कि जब भी वो अपने couch पर होता है in vacant or in pensive mood. Vacant means he's not in a in any mood. He's in pensive mood actually. Pensive is sad. Sad you can say contemplative, thoughtful. He's thinking about something. He's not feeling well. He's not feeling good. He's sad. So whenever he's in a vacant or a pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye. तो daffodils जो हैं inward eye कहने का मतलब in his memories, उसकी उसके दिमाग में उसके ख्यालों में जो है वो daffodils की मेमोरी आ जाती है और daffodils वो फ्लैश करते हैं. एक्चुअली एक फ्लैशबैक आता है पोएट को daffodils का, जिस तरह से daffodils were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Okay, so this was actually the wealth. यही wealth है जो लास्ट पोएट ने अभी कहा कि what wealth. तो this was the wealth actually whenever the poet will be feeling sad or thoughtful, or you can say that he will not be feeling good, they flash upon that inward eye. He will be remembering the daffodils, which is the bliss of solitude. Which is the bliss of solitude? Bliss is actually the blessing, the happiness of solitude. Solitude means loneliness. तो loneliness में कौन सी blessing है पोएट के लिए? loneliness में कौन सा क्या कहते हैं happiness है पोएट के लिए? The memory of the daffodils. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So the poet says कि फिर उसके बाद जो मेरा heart है, it fills with joy and it fills with pleasure and it dances with the daffodils. So this is the poem. You can say that the influence, okay, the experience he had with the daffodils, the influence was everlasting, and whenever he remembered it, he derived pleasure while remembering the experience. So and he felt happy. Fine. So this is the poem. Now let's look at the literary devices that are used in the poem. First of all, as I already told you, that poet has compared himself to a cloud. That is a simile. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Whenever we compare something with using as or like, it is a simile. So I wandered lonely as a cloud, that is a simile. Then the daffodils are personified. So personification is there. They were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Fine. Then poet has also used hyperbole, as I told you. 10,000 saw I at a glance. Hyperbole is like exaggeration when you go beyond reality. Okay, for the sake of emphasis, you say something which is not real. So 10,000 I saw at a glance is actually an example of hyperbole. Then we also have alliteration over here, like beside the lake and beneath the trees. Alliteration is basically the repetition of the consonant sounds, okay, in a line. So BB, beside the lake, beneath the trees. Okay, so this is an alliteration. Another example of alliteration is this one. I gazed and gazed but little thought. So GG sound is repeating. This is also alliteration. Fine, so this is the poem, and if you have not understood anything, you can ask it in the comment box. Thank you.